guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Rock Sound. It's another of our video calls where we've been catching up with everybody while we're all stuck at home at the minute. And I'm delighted to say from Halestorm, Lzzy's on the line. How are you, Lzzy?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much. It's great to see a face that's not mine in the mirror.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's how we've started all these off, just making sure, of course, first of all, I hope you and your family and your loved ones, will staying as safe and as healthy as you can in this weird time. But generally, how has this lockdown experience been going for you?
It's kind of been a roller coaster. I started out in the beginning kind of being a little just unsure of the future. And then I went through a whole phase of like, well, I'm a musician. I literally was born to adapt. If I wasn't able to adapt, I wouldn't be in this business. Everything changes from week to week, but now it's kind of bloomed into this. I'm looking at it in this positive light. It's bloomed into this beautiful time of like self-discovery. I've broken a few habits. I've gained a couple new ones, both good and bad. And I've been writing, honestly, some of the best songs I've ever written because I've just had the time. And there isn't any deadline, and nobody's breathing down my neck saying, "Hey, where are those demos?" So it's been really really interesting. Also, just in the community here, everybody's just been very much just out for each, like just having each other's backs, and there's this feeling of unity amidst the craziness and the complete opposite of that in the world going on right now. But it's so I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to be be hopeful, I guess.
Yeah, no, good attitude to have. Got to stay positive in these weird times we find ourselves in. And it's funny you mentioned about the writing there, because I saw you posted on Instagram the other day and saying that, like you just said, feeling like you're writing some of the best stuff you've ever written. Is that just, like you say, because you've got more time to play with it, more kind of freedom? Or what is it you think that's bringing that out of you right now?
The freedom and well, first of all, I haven't been home without a gig for this long in probably over 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's a strange thing. So I think in one way, I have the time, but in another way, I'm seeking that high out. I'm seeking that joy that I find from playing out live every night and that, situation. But also everything means something differently. I'm not writing for any other reason. I'm not writing for a deadline. I'm not writing for a record, even though technically I am. We are technically working on a new Halestorm record. But I'm writing from such a position of joy right now, just literally just getting excited about some small piece of music that's maybe, and I'm taking more risks now because I have the space and the time, and I've settled into something. And I'm not even quite sure what that is. And I feel like it's going to reveal itself maybe later, but right now I'm in it and it's exciting. So yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I thought about these pros and cons. The cons of this pandemic, have been, I have to be home and I don't get to do what I love to do, is in travel. I'm not with my road crew and my bandmates every day. But on the other hand, everything that I was writing before the pandemic hit, I kind of put on the back burner and I just started fresh, and lyrics mean something differently now, and music means something different now. It's not just this thing you do because it's fun to play. It's like almost like you're being your own ambassador of rock music, and what does that actually mean to you besides just like, yeah, we're gonna rock out? Like, what is that? So it's been fun to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that's been a recurring theme through loads of these chats. We chatted with a lot of people, as you might imagine, who some people were like in the middle of working on a new record. Some people have just, like yourself, maybe just started taking up some more writing. Now they've got that downtime. But yeah, that's a similar theme. Everyone's saying it's a new appreciation for what they, everyone's so lucky to get to work in this industry and do what they do. And yeah, finding that kind of freedom in that way. How much kind of stuff are you actually working on at home? That have you got some stuff fully tracked? Is it all just ideas at the minute? What's it looking like?
I have a lot that's fully tracked. It's kind of been a relay sport because we're not all in the same room.
Of course, yeah.
So how it's pretty much been going is that I have the studio down here, but I have two writing stations upstairs, one by a piano and then one's just like a simple just rock rig with guitar. And so basically I've been writing the song in its entirety in how I see fit. And then I pass the baton to my guitar player, and then I pass the baton to our rhythm section, and then we like discuss it later. But it's been, I don't know, it's been really exciting. We have a lot that's finished, which I think is awesome. But I feel like that mentality has been, just with this pandemic and the future kind of being unknown, you're really, at least for me, the way I'm feeling is that I'm living in the now, whereas I'm like, hey, if this is the last song I ever write right now, I'm going to finish it and I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to be writing. I'm not writing for radio or what I think the fans want to hear or what I think a label wants to hear, manage, whatever it is. I'm writing just from an element of my truth. And I've always done that, but I just think it's just peeling back another layer of that onion, So I don't know. It's exciting. And I honestly, like, I got so worked up yesterday because I'm like, oh man, what if we just, record a couple songs and just put them out there? Like now I just want to like show people new songs. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, there's like no plan. We were actually one of the lucky ones because we had a couple shows this year just to kind of keep the lights on, like some summer festival gigs and everything that have all been postponed. But we were actually, not for this long, but we were taking the time anyway to kind of try to collect some demos and write some songs. But I feel for so many of my peers that have just released records and were dependent on this summer touring cycle to break that album. And, but I feel like everyone's just trying to find their own way. Like, how do you keep out there? How do you keep relevant? How do you keep on the top of the pile? So I don't sit still very well, so I'm just keeping busy.
That's good. No, that is exactly how you have to be right now. Absolutely adapting, keeping busy in that way, exactly like you've just said. And before we go any further, I'm going to have to, I just mentioned it up top before we started, but you're going to have to talk me through this beautiful studio setup behind you. I'm admiring it all. That's an incredible setup to have in your home to work with there, right? Talk me through some of this.
Well, this is literally a collection of things. So Halestorm just turned 23 this year. For any of you watching that don't know me and my band, my little brother is the drummer, and he and I started it when I was 13 and he was 11. Probably closer to 10, but he looked like he was 9. So, and he had long hair, so everyone thought he was my little sister, but we don't have to get into that. That's a whole other story. But, yeah, just literally like every guitar, including one of my brother's drum kits. We have a bass rig down here. We have, some of our touring, practice amps down here as well. I have an old Fender Rhodes it's just a 70s Fender Rhodes keyboard that I've had since I was 14. There's so many picks, guitar picks, like inside of it, that some of the keys are like sticking, it makes this weird sound, like a bow sound. It's just hilarious. So, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things. It's just pedals galore. And I got a bunch of Marshall amps over here. And, yeah, and what you can't see is in this direction, I built a vocal booth, which has become really handy because I've been doing a lot of collaboration lately, and I'm able to do it from home. So it's almost like I was building for the apocalypse.
Just down in the bunker, the music-based bunker.
Yeah.
You saw it coming. I like that. Got to be prepared. Get everything in there. You mentioned collaborations there. That's a good one to bring up, actually, because, of course, most recently on the Evanescence track, I know you and Amy are very good friends and collaborators throughout the years, all that kind of thing. But, yeah, let's talk briefly about Use My Voice, because what a lovely thing that was. What a lovely project to come together.
Oh, I love that Amy asked me to be on it, and all of us are. I mean, I wasn't the only one. It was literally a girl gang, and it was all of these lovely, lovely women and we've all been friends for years, and we've touched each other's lives in different ways, and we've all are building our own empires. So just to come together to say something as powerful as that. And honestly, I just have to take a moment to absolutely commend Amy Lee, because, her and I, we had this conversation where she told me, she's like, I was nervous because we're at a point in time in our lives, in our career, where I can't just be neutral anymore. And she's like, for years and years, I kept everything in my music neutral because I felt like that was a music is supposed to be a safe space for everybody. But when it becomes beyond political and it's more of it's right and wrong now, it's a fundamental truth and fundamental rights. And she said, yeah, I have to say something. And I literally, I looked at her, I'm just like, she showed me the song literally months and months ago before all of this hit. And I had tears in my eyes, and I turned to her, I'm just like, this is amazing that you have the balls, so to speak, to say this right now, in your position. And she's such a beautiful soul, and her and I've been friends for years, and it's just it's wonderful to see somebody like that step up. So, and it was just great to be a part of it. We ended up doing a video shoot during all of this, and it was a very like weird social distance video shoot. Like I showed up, and there's like, it feels like there's like this like circle around you that nobody can cross, when you're in those situations. Like it's like the one time I got out of the house and I just want to hug everybody so bad and I can't do it. But it was great. Like we showed up and there's like an on-site nurse and everyone's just like yelling direction, so that's going to be fun for everybody to see. But
yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. That's, I mean, it's the phrase that's been done to death, but the new normal right there. That is the moving forward of the music videos. I think that's great though, to be able to find ways and adapt, like you say, to get back to work in that way. It's very, very cool.
Well, it's funny. I just did a collaboration with a country singer. His name is Corey Marks, and we did this song called Out in the Rain. And we needed to do the video together, and because it's a duet, it's like, okay, I need to be in the video. And since we can't be together, I literally I did it in my garage. They sent me just a still camera, and I had the director literally on FaceTime yelling through the phone, giving me direction. And but it's funny because it literally took 2 hours. And for those of you who don't know, in a normal music video day for a musician, it's like a 14-hour day. You show up at the crack of dawn, everyone's trying to powder your nose and make you look like a weird doll version of yourself. And then you do a million takes of one thing, and then you have a couple scene changes, and you do a million takes of that. And by the time you're done, you're exhausted and you haven't even sung a note because it's only a video. But this was done in like 2 hours. So I was thinking, I'm like, wait, why haven't we done this since the dawn of time? We could get so much done.
Make like 8 videos a day. Just do the whole campaign in a day from your garage.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's actually a way to even go back to like the old normal. It's like we're like, hey, we can do this ourselves from home. I don't even have to leave the house. I don't even have to put pants on.
Yeah,
I do have.
Best. As do I. I will clarify that one. The people have seen me a lot on this camera, always wearing pants. I will clarify that for sure.
I swear.
Absolutely. I want to jump back a little bit on something that kind of a couple of months back now, but the Reimagined EP was a really cool idea. And a couple of things I want to ask you about. I guess, first of all, how do you go back through, like you say, a 23-year catalog and decide these are the ones we want to kind of change a bit and reimagine? How did you select those particular songs?
It was really hard, and we ended up, it was a combination of us literally getting in a room and jamming songs and trying. I kind of approached it like, okay, guys, like if I just brought you this idea and this is how I play it on guitar with just me and the vocals. If I just brought you this idea and we did not have this, how would we do it any differently? Like, let's think about that. But then also we definitely did stalk, our fan base. Unbeknownst to them, like we didn't like put out like, hey, what are your favorite songs? But we did stalk a lot of them, and just like over a period of time, just like, okay, well, people like always talk about this one and they talk about this one. And then a couple of them really just kind of came about like, so for instance, we committed to one cover, which is I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, and obviously made famous by Whitney Houston. And I wasn't sure how I was going to approach this, but I had done this a couple times by myself live, just in front of an audience, and usually kind of picked the most metal crowd because, one thing that I love to do is throw in either a Whitney Houston cover or an Adele cover. in the midst of like, you can see them. They're the poster children for masculinity. They got the leather jackets and the tattoos, and they are bawling their eyes out every single time you hit those. So I like doing that. And so we were joking around about it, and there was a piano in the studio, and I'm like, well, why don't we just, I know we were saying we're going to do like all originals, but what if we just throw this one in? So sat down and just kind of, I don't know, did it in my own way, ended up rearranging some things and trying not to commit to the other two versions. And so did that. And then with the duet with Amy Lee on Break In, that had been a long time coming, because we had toured together years and years ago. And this was when we kind of first were getting to know each other. We had met briefly, but this was like, okay, we're touring together, we're going to get to know each other. Absolute instant friends. And she started watching the set like from side stage every night, and she came into my dressing room after one show, and she's like, hey, so you do this song in the set just on piano by yourself. And I listened to the recording, and there are all these beautiful harmonies that you put on that you don't have any of the guys singing. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to make the guys sing those high harmonies, like those poor guys. I would never do that to them, And so she basically says, well, would you let me come up and do that? I'm like, girl, you're Amy fucking Lee. Like, do you want to just sing the song yourself? Like, do it, And she's like, no, I really just want to do the harmonies. And so she at first she started doing the harmonies, just the ones that I had written on the album. And then she started expanding a little bit because like we got more comfortable. She would come out and sing it every single night with me. And it was such a beautiful moment, like with between the two of us, and just showing that unity, but also like the audience would just go crazy. I'd be at the piano every night, and you'd always know when Amy's creeping up, because all of a sudden you start hearing the woos, woo, woo, what? It's like everyone go nuts. So anyway, fast forward to present day. Amy Lee has just recently moved to Nashville, which is where I'm at right now, and she had worked with Nick, and I'm like, Nick, what if we do a different version of Break In and see if Amy will do it? Like let's text her. I think it was like 2 a.m. I was like, let's just text her. It's fine. And she said yes and came over, and we ended up doing it in a really unique way. We were 6 feet apart before 6 feet apart was on trend. This was pre-COVID-19, and we're in this big studio. We walk in, and instead of us just recording our parts separately, Nick Raskulinetz, our producer that did the EP, set up 2 mics 6 feet apart, and he's like, okay, so here's how I want you to do it. I want you guys to perform the song in the same room at the same time from beginning to end, and we're going to do a bunch of takes like that. So of course we're both thinking, wait, so we can't just like punch in and like, if like, let's say like I'm flat on a note, like I can't just go in and fix it. He's like, no, absolutely not, because it's going to bleed in through her mic. So if you screw up, everybody's got to do it all over again. So we did it that way. And I believe it was the 6th take. We ended up doing 7 takes total, and it was the 6th take we kept. And we filmed all of it. But one of the most beautiful things that you don't see on the video or on the recording was what happened before, because when everybody was getting everything set up and we were waiting for the engineer to get there, Amy and I are sitting down in the room, and she's like, do you think we should just go over the parts? Because we haven't like sung this together in years. And I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. And so we started singing a cappella together. Like, just whatever. That's just something that we did it. And then afterward, like we went over our parts and we sang the whole song a cappella together, just sitting there in the room. And then she pops up and she's like, well, I'm going to go make some tea. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll see you when you get back. And I turned to Nick, our producer. I'm like, do you know how difficult that would have been with any other singer? Like, to have no reference point of music, to just sit there with somebody else and start the song and match each other throughout. Like, that's amazing. So anyway, it's like, it's a true testament to her voice and how talented she is. And I'm just glad that she was on it.
Absolutely. No, it's funny. We did one of these with Amy a few weeks back when the kind of album was just launched. Yeah, she's so great. And it's just funny hearing stories like that, because she just struck me as someone who's amazing work ethic, loves to collaborate with people like yourself and various others. It's just really nice to hear stories like that where yeah, it just works. That relationship just works so well with you guys. It's such a nice collaboration whenever it keeps happening. Hopefully more in the future, I would hope so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I told her, I'm like, well, you can't get rid of me that easy. So
That's it, done, locked
we're
in.
writing the record. I'm writing a song with you, girl. Come on, let's do it.
100%, 100%. Well, I'll leave you with this then, Lzzy, because I guess it's to look forward as to what's kind of coming next. I know everyone's schedule's up in the air. I know it's this weird, crazy time. Can't really predict too much. But like you say, working on, to quote you again, some of the best music you've ever written. When do you think we might get to hear some of that?
I'm not sure. In my personal opinion, I think it should be sooner than later. I don't think that there's any reason. And again, like I have no idea whether that's going to work out, depending on the music industry and my team and everything going along. There's a bunch of people attached to me, so we'll see. But in my opinion, I think that in the times that we're in right now, where the future is unknown, touring is unknown, we don't know when that's going to happen again. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait until we have, a tour booked, whatever that even means, when that ends up happening, to trickle some stuff out. I think that music is so incredibly powerful right now, and I think it's so incredibly needed. So I'm saying that not necessarily on a personal aspect, as in like, hey, it's my career, I should put out some music. Not even like just put that off the table. I just think that sharing music with people and sharing what you're going through personally in this time with people is going to be more powerful and more important than selling records or numbers of streams. I think that it just you're welcome. Hopefully it gives you some light and hope in these dark times. So that's my opinion, and hopefully I'm right.
Fingers crossed. We'd love to hear it. We really would. And I guess that's actually one other point I'll make with you is because so many artists we've spoken to recently have talked about when they've been writing music during lockdown or maybe just before lockdown, it suddenly takes on a new meaning now we've been through all this together. Have you found that with some of the stuff you're writing? Are some older lyrics suddenly taking on new resonance or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I just had that moment. We did a live stream kind of thing, just kind of like an acoustic live stream. This is, I don't know how many weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago, maybe it was more than that. I don't know. Time is elastic. Time means nothing anymore. But we were going over, we did 2 songs, and we did one of our songs off the latest album, Vicious, called The Silence. And then we did Here's to Us, off of the second record. And both of those songs had different meanings now, because I wrote The Silence as a love song, but there's a line in it that I will see you and I will hear you after the silence, and we're going to outlast the pyramid. So it's literally this post-apocalyptic song about literally, being there for someone, and even it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside world. You and I are going to stay even beyond death. You and I are going to stay connected. So I got a little misty after that one. And then Here's to Us. It's funny because a lot of people have asked me about a particular line where here's to us, here's to love, all the times that we fucked up, and here's to you for the glass. And, but then there's a line in the verses, well, nothing lasts forever. And all of a sudden on the live chat on this stream that we were doing, everyone's like, fuck yeah, nothing's going to last forever. Not even this pandemic. And we're all I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a drinking song that we wrote, So it's like everything takes on new meaning. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's just a testament to the power and the universal language of music. So yeah,
absolutely.
Just glad to be pushing it out there.
Oh, for sure. And I think we all need a good drinking song right now, don't we? Let's be honest. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Earlier than others now. It's
so true. So true. Lzzy, it's really, really nice to chat to you. We, hope you guys stay safe. Look forward to new music whenever it arrives, and look forward to seeing you in the UK when that's all allowed for some shows and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said to Amy, Mr. James, cannot get rid of me that easy. So
absolutely. We'll be seeing you again. Don't you worry on that. Lzzy, really great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, sweetie.